What's up, guys? Classy Metal here. I've got an unboxing video for you guys today. 25 CD mystery box. I literally just woke up, so I'm sorry if this video does not feel up to snuff. I wanted to do an unboxing when I actually opened this, so I've been putting it off because I wanted to record when I opened it, and I just couldn't put it off anymore. So I woke up, still got the bags under my eyes, but we're gonna crack this sucker open. What I've got here, as I said, is a 25 CD mystery box grab bag from Deathgasm Records. This is special they currently have going. I think they were offering these at 20 CDs. Now they've upped it to 25. It's 25 CDs for $50, and shipping here in the U.S. I believe is $6. They offer these internationally. Of course, the shipping is going to be a bit more on the international shipping. I think it's like $25. Don't hold me to that, but I think it's $50 for the grab bag and then $25 for shipping international. I'm going to link that up in the description. That way, if you see some stuff in here that you want to try to take a stab at getting one of these, then it'll definitely be down there at your disposal to do so. Go ahead and it looks like they've got it packed pretty tight because it's kind of bursting out when I cut the tape there. We'll get it and I'll show you. Had some cardboard on top. Looks like we got some promo materials. Little flyer. I'll show that in a second. It looks like maybe an extra little freebie compilation CD. I'll show that. And it's packed up tight. I could tell it was packed up tight when I got it in. When I get a box like that, I like to shake it to see if I hear any kind of teeth rattling around or broken pieces of plastic. It seems like it was packed up perfectly. Nothing broke. That's always a plus. Here we have the little flyer promo material that was in there, highlighting some Deathgasm Records releases. Some pretty good stuff on that lineup right there. I'd be stoked to have some of that stuff in this grab bag. So. And then it has the, as I mentioned earlier, the little compilation CD. This says Imperative Music Volume 13, the Global Metal Compilation. So, highlighting some bands apparently from all over the world. There's quite a few bands on here. There's 32 tracks. And I don't know... there's a lot of bands on here that I'm not familiar with. There's a few that I am, but there's a lot of bands that I do not know. So hopefully I can find me some new stuff on that. So looking forward to checking that out. That'll probably get some spins in the truck, just because I like listening to compilations and that type of stuff that it won't hurt my feelings if it gets scratched or something, because car CD players are terrible on CDs themselves, on the actual disc. I'm going to dig some of this packing paper out just so I can get a grip on some of these albums. I'm going to sit that there. I don't have a ton of room to work with today. I wasn't super prepared for this video, but I wanted to go on and do it. Just going to get right into it. The first album is a band I'm not familiar with. This is Xalpen. It's a Xalpen with Black Rights. This was released on Morbid Skull Records and looks like Chamber of Horns. So, pretty nasty looking artwork on that. It has that a very black metalish, either black metalish or possibly even Black and Death looking vibe going on with that artwork. Looks like something I could definitely get into. It looks like an artwork that I would be drawn to if I was just kind of checking out new stuff and scrolling through. It is something that probably would have caught my eye, so definitely looking forward to checking that one out. As I said, it's Xalpen with Black Rights. Next up, we have a band that I am familiar with. This is Yellowtooth with Disgust. They're kind of a sludgy doom metal, have some stoner vibes going on sometimes. I do not own Disgust, so I'm glad to have this one in the collection now. I own, I believe, their previous album, and that one was pretty good. I think I got it in a metallic media grab bag sometime way back. Actually, I think I've owned that previous album. I've had 2 or 3 copies come into my possession that I've rehomed, and this is actually the first time that I've owned Disgust, so definitely glad to have that in the collection now, because I do enjoy Yellowtooth's material. Next up, we have some death metal. This is the New Plague with Insatiable. This is kind of that blistering death metal. I'm not sure where this band is from, but they remind me of kind of that Brazilian, South American, just fiery, nasty death metal. This was released on Deathgasm, so it's nice to see some Deathgasm Records releases popping up in this as well. I hate it when labels and stuff do grab bags and it's all just third-party distro overstock that they've just been completely unable to move. I'm glad to see that there's going to be some actual Deathgasm Records releases in this. So, said this is the New Plague with Insatiable. I've seen this album available for purchase. I probably on eBay scrolling through because that artwork there is very memorable to me. I've definitely seen that a few times before. Next up, we have another Deathgasm Records release. This is one that I've also heard before. This is a Sick Fuck with Gore Delicious. I received this in a grab bag at some point in the past. It possibly was in that severed grab bag, the big one that I did. I'm 100% positive. This is another one that I've had in my possession before. Just pretty nasty gore grind, nasty stuff there. So. Next up, awesome. This is Morbid Art with the Cult of Flesh. This is on Solar Racer Records. Anytime you see that little Solar Racer Records logo on the back, you're probably in for a treat. I believe this is the reissue of Morbid Art. This is pretty solid stuff from what I remember. It's been a bit since I've actually listened to this, but I do remember enjoying this. And I've enjoyed most everything that I've heard that, like I said, that has that little Solar Racer stamp on the back. That's definitely something to look for. They find some very, very underground type stuff. They reissue some just stuff that I don't know how they find it, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But super stoked to have this one in the collection now. Very, very excited. I will probably throw that in the CD player as soon as this video is over with. Next up, we have another Deathgasm. This is one that I've actually had in my cart on eBay on a couple of occasions, and it's been shuffled around and actually come out, so I'm glad to have it in the collection now. This is a Minion with Decades of Abomination. It's kind of a little compilation spanning over Minion's career. I think it starts in some of their early, 1993 is the earliest track on this, and then I think the latest track is 2013. It also has a video, which is pretty neat. I guess it has it's probably an enhanced CD or something because it has a Hordes of Flies promotional video. So that'd be something I can pop here in the laptop at some point and actually watch the video for that. It's still sealed in the plastic, so I'm not going to open it up and show the CD, but stoked to have that in the collection now as well. Next up, we have some doom metal. This is Nex with Zero. I think this is another Deathgasm. Yeah, another Deathgasm release. This is one that I've seen around. I've never actually listened to this. From what I've heard people talk about this, I think it kind of leans more to the almost like a funeral doom type vibe at times. It has for fans of Candlemass, My Dying Bride, Catatonia, Autopsy, and that's a pretty vast array of bands for fans of. You don't really get a super big glimpse into their sound with that. So I don't know. That's something that I want to check out. Like I said, I've heard people talk about this release, but it's not something that I've personally checked out before on my own. Excuse me. Well, I lost the cap, but hopefully we will not spill that because we're not going to stop. We're going to keep rolling. Next up, we have Quinta Essentia with Initiates of the Great Work. I think this is another Deathgasm, so I'm stoked to see a lot of Deathgasm releases in this. As I said, this is Initiates of the Great Work. I own a previous Quinta Essentia album. The one that I own leans a little bit more to black metal. If I can remember correctly, I think this one almost kind of delves into almost a progressive death metal sound. So they definitely have a lot going on in their music, but I do enjoy the majority of what I've heard from that band. So I'm excited to listen to that one and spend some time with it as well. Next up, this is a band that makes me laugh. I already own this release. This is a very good release. This is also a Deathgasm Records release. This is Cerebral with Satanogenesis. This is a fantastic kind of black metal, has some death metal vibes going on, but this is a fantastic release. And it's so sad that what this band became. Um, you have stuff like this. This was probably their last great album, probably my favorite album that they ever released. And then they kind of embarked on this complete 180. They became kind of dance pop with a like a new metal dance pop. I mean, it's terrible. It was absolutely horrible. I don't know if they're still around. I don't know what they're doing now, but I just remember their sound completely changed, and I don't know what the reason behind that was. I don't know if they had a lineup change that changed their sounds, but I know it was absolutely terrible. Satanogenesis was good. Everything after that, not so much. Next up, we have one that I'm not familiar with at all. This is a project called Maggot Shoes with Fear Terrorism. I have no clues to what to expect just from the artwork and the band logo. I have no idea. This is one that is completely new to me. It's on FDA Records, REKOTZ. I wasn't trying to be funny and enunciate that funny. That's what it says. And it has to be an older release because the email that they have listed for it is a Hotmail release. So, yeah, no idea what to expect from this whatsoever. Moving on. Next up, we have another one I'm not familiar with, and that is I'm thinking the band name is Lab 11 with Exceed the Veil of Maya, or Maya. I think this says Lab 11. That's what I see. So this is another one that I'm not familiar with. It is on SG Records. That's a label that I'm not familiar with, so I have no idea what to expect on this one as well. So not going to spend a ton of time on something that I don't know, but that's Lab 11 with Exceed the Veil of Maya, or Maya. Sorry. Next up, we have some black metal. This is a Deathgasm release. This is Cult Offensive, I think is how you pronounce that, with Noki Ruznik. I've heard some of the material from this project before. I have not heard this particular album. The one that I heard, I think, had a like a woman face statue on the front. It was pretty good. I think this is the first release of theirs that I actually own on a physical format. So stoked to have this in the collection now. But pretty good stuff from what I remember. Some pretty good, pretty solid black metal going on right there. Next up, we have another Deathgasm release. This is King with Forged by Satan's Doctrine. I have not heard this particular release, but I remember seeing the promotional stuff for this. And hopefully that's going to be pretty good. I'm assuming it's more of that death metal, that kind of blackened tinged death metal. Just in, I guess, blackened themes going on within the death metal. I think the music on this is probably going to hinge more towards death metal. So, but I'm not completely certain. As I said, I am a bit ignorant on that one because I have not listened to it. Next up, we have Gornheld with Fetus in Fetu. This was released on Brutalized Records back in 2005. Judging from the artwork, it's probably something I'm going to dig. I've been just gobbling up death metal that has that kind of vein of artwork going on lately. I don't know what sparked that interest, that re-love of death metal. I don't know if it was just the $20 spin maybe last year, some of the releases they had put out, some of those death metal releases, that Severed Records mystery box, that huge mystery box, that was full of death metal. Kind of re-sparked that love affair I had with death metal and put some of the other genres I was listening to on a back burner for a bit. And this seems like it's going to be right up my alley in the way of stuff that I've been listening to as of late. I guess I kind of went off on a tangent there just because of that artwork on that. But anyway, that's Gornheld with Fetus and Fetu. And I'm getting to the point now where everything's trying to fall forward. the discs are all falling over inside the box. So, next up we have Gaebelane with Blood Now Flows. This is another Deathgasm Records release. Want to say that is some more death metal. Just judging from that that artwork there, this is one that I am not familiar with. So I have a lot of new music here, as always. It seems like I always have a ton of new music to go through. I don't know how I'll find time to listen to all this. I wish I could just get paid to sit at home and listen to music all day. It would make life much easier. I am super stoked to have this release now. This is Embalmed Souls with Journey Through Bizarre. This is another one of those Soul Eraser albums that I was speaking of. So definitely stoked to see this one in there. I am a bit surprised. I'm stoked. I'm glad to have that in the collection now. And well, I'm going to take that back. They put the wrong disc. That's very unfortunate. I have a Carpathian Funeral disc in the Embalmed Souls case, so we're going to move on from that one. That was like a gut punch, man. I was stoked to have that Embalmed Souls released now. I probably, after this video, I'll probably just go hunt it down on eBay or try to stock out a copy of that for myself. Moving on. Sorry, kind of a hiccup in the video. That is unfortunate. That taking nothing away from Carpathian Funeral, but I was stoked to have the Embalmed Souls release, and then the fact that now I have a Carpathian Funeral disc without the artwork and case, and I have an Embalmed Souls with a case and no artwork. So that's, I mean, a case and no CD. So that's unfortunate. Next up, we have one that I'm not familiar with. This is Drag the Dead with, I guess it's self-titled. This was released on New World Subculture Media. No idea whatsoever what to expect from this. It actually has that old school parental advisory thing up front. You don't see that just a ton. Probably because of the gratuitous nudity that apparently is on. I'm not going to show that too long so this video does not get flagged and taken down. Next up, we have Disfigured Dead with Relentless. This is a Severed and Butchered Records joint release. Pretty good death metal right here. Actually surprised I did not get this in that Severed Records mystery box that I did. So I've been pretty surprised that of the lack of duplicates that I've received in this box. I'm pretty impressed with that and happy about that. Aside from that one hiccup with the Embalmed Souls, I've been pretty impressed with this grab bag here as a whole. Pretty decent stuff, especially for the price point that you're paying per CD. Next up, we have Cerebral Turbulence Ii with U.S. Gravy. Not familiar with this one whatsoever. That artwork does look intriguing to me, though. Almost has like a Fear Factory vibe going on. I know it's probably nothing like that sound-wise, but that is just the kind of the vibe that I get from it. Apparently this is a bit older. I think it came out in late 90s. So it says 1997 and 1998 is some of the tracks. So I don't know. I'm not really sure what to expect on this one, but I am looking forward to checking that one out. So, and as I said, the box. Well, there may be some redemption here. Next up, we have Carpathian Funeral with The End of God. Now, I'm afraid to open this. I want to open this up and there be that Embalmed Souls album in this. I'm kind of scared to open this. I don't know. Nope. It is the Carpathian. So I actually own two of that disc now. I guess I have a backup disc if I ever need it. There we have Carpathian Funeral with The End of God. Sorry, I went blank on that. That's another one of those severed and butchered joint releases there. So nice to have that one in the collection. I guess nice to have that one in the collection times two. Next up, we have some grindy goodness. This is a Blood Duster with what was the name of this release? Leiden Na, I believe is how you pronounce that. Pretty good grindy type stuff. I have not heard this particular release that I remember. I may have heard it through a stream or something. But what I've heard of Blood Duster, I've enjoyed everything that I've heard in the past. So I'm sure this will be more of the same with that release. Next up, we have a split. This is Blessed Slaughter and Inferior Concha. This was released on Reverb Productions, and that's about all the info that it gives me on that. I don't know much of anything about this. Definitely looks like gore grind. Almost have some exhumed worship going on with some of the lettering and artworks on that. So next up, we have Athos with Crossing the River of Sharon, or Charon. This was a 2008 release on Kandarian Demon Productions. So I'm going to say that this is black metal. Definitely looks like black metal to me. Definitely looks like something I could get into. So kind of stoked to check this one out here pretty soon as well. Next up, we have one that I did receive in the Severed. This is a double. I think this is actually the only second double that I've received in this, only the second duplicate. This is Asilium with Global Decomposition. Pretty good death metal right here. As I said, I have a copy of this already that I received in that Severed mystery box, that huge mystery box. That will probably go up on the trade block or go to the giveaway stack. And then last but not least, we have Apotemnophobia with Purity and the Stench. This was released on a Blaze label. Don't know much about that one. I'm guessing that probably has a some kind of black metal vibe going on, maybe Black and Death. Just judging from that artwork and band logo. Don't know too much about this one at all. So there we go. I mean, aside from the Embalmed Souls, I mean, that was disappointing to open that disc up and it had the wrong, open that case up and it had the wrong disc. Kind of took some of the wind out of my sails. I apologize for that. But other than that, I think that was a pretty solid grab bag. I definitely think it was worth the price of admission to get that. I'm going to link that up in the description. You guys can check that out. I think as soon as I close this, I'm going to go hunt that one disc down for myself just because that's, I'm one of those. I want it. I got to have it. So, yeah. But other than that, I did enjoy this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you will take a chance and grab one of these for yourself. If you do, let me know how your grab bag turned out. That's all I've got for today. I've got a ton of stuff, as always, a ton of stuff I need to show. We'll get around to that when we get around to it. But stay classy, stay metal, stay safe, and I will see you all very soon. I promise.